You are listening to the 90 Days Later podcast with Anna Charles, episode 166. Welcome to the 90 Days Later podcast, where I show you how life with less alcohol is more fun than you think. I work with high achievers who struggle to drink a glass of wine without it turning into 2 bottles. I'm the one they call when they want to take it or leave it. So if you want to change your relationship with alcohol that doesn't involve counting days sober, you're in the right place. Hi everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. So it is Tuesday the 4th of February. I am dedicating this episode to those of you who have gone through and done Dry January. This is for all of you who attempted it or completed it or were hugely successful or anywhere in between. Whatever happened for you, I think it is hugely important to look back over the month and firstly to see, did you have some fun with it? Did you learn some things about yourself? Did you learn more about why you drink? And have you now got clues as to what you could do to reduce that? What worked well for you during the month? What are you going to continue to do? What did you find easier than expected, perhaps? And also, what did you find difficult, or what did you find harder to do than you thought would be the case? How could you modify some of what you tried to a way that suits you better? Now look, I'm starting this podcast with loads of questions because I think when we do anything like quote unquote Dry January, we believe there is a specific way we need to do this. And there are specific parameters and specific results that we need to get. But I firmly believe that when it comes to creating and transforming our relationship with alcohol, there is no one size fits all. Only what works for you, whatever that means. And as you are you can create your own blueprint for that, what works for you, right? So in this podcast today, I want to cover a few topics that I often hear about when people finish a program or a period such as Dry January, maybe sober October, and all the rest of it. My first question for you is, what do you want next, right? Now that you have done this particular program or this period of time. You are the expert about your life and your relationship with alcohol, the current one you have and the one you desire. So I want to do a little exercise with you to help you maybe get some greater clarity around that in case you're feeling a little confused. This is about learning how to figure out what's good for you and learning to listen to your own inner guidance instead of making other people tell us what to do and using them as kind of like the barometer. Such and such says I should do this, and therefore that's what I must do. What I want you to look for is to really dig inside yourself and build a picture. And when you do this, you'll get integrity for yourself. You'll feel full agency of yourself. And that feels so good because this is about making the right decision for you. And if you figure out how to do that, you're never going to want to waver from that. So here's what we're going to do. First, I want you to take a nice deep breath in through your nose. I won't do it myself because you'll hear lots of deep breathing, but take a big deep breath. I want you to relax and settle into your body. Get comfortable. Take another deep breath, then relax your face, jaw, neck, and shoulders. And when you feel calm and at peace, I want you to ask yourself, what do I think is best for me to do with alcohol moving forward? And if I don't know what comes up, ask, but what if I did know? What would that look like? Listen to yourself. There might just be a little whisper there. What is your true desire? What is your knowing? When it comes to alcohol, what do you deeply know? You do know what's good for you, and you do know what would be the next best step for you right now. Even if you think it's scary or you can't do it, you know what you want. And that's what you're going to aim for. And you're going to commit right now to what that looks like. I want you to let that be your truth, for now at least. You can always change your mind. I still don't say that I have quit drinking alcohol forever, even though I rarely to never drink. I don't put that hard line in the sand for me because I don't see the point. It doesn't serve me. I prefer to look at this with some degree of flexibility, and I personally despise labels. But that's me. There is no right or wrong here. You can decide this for yourself. There is no law that says you have to decide what kind of relationship you want to have with alcohol and then stick to that forever and ever. Amen. Next, I want to talk about reintroducing alcohol. If you have gone 31 days alcohol-free throughout January, maybe even through into early February, the idea of reintroducing alcohol is a totally legitimate fear. You might worry if you bring alcohol back in, you're going to have huge desire for it again. My response to that is to be intentional and do not wing it. Desire is not a problem. We have desire for lots of things in life. Desire is only an issue if you just answer that desire without any kind of forethought. So if you get a craving, right, we don't just want to give in to the craving. We can manage our way through the craving. This is not a problem. It's just going to be something to work through. This is all about your inner knowing and empowering yourself. You don't need to feel afraid, but if you are feeling a little scared, it's all right to say, I'm accepting how I'm feeling right now. And then I want you to look at your intentions and really, did you want the drink? How are you, what position is the wanting coming from? Is it because you have a craving, or is it because you are neutrally deciding it? If you don't want to deal with any of this thought, maybe you don't want to have a drink, and that's okay. But if the idea of never drinking again seems scary, why not piece together little blocks of dry January, one after the other? You could tell yourself this isn't forever, just till the end of this week, just to the end of next week, just to the end of February, and take it from there. Right? You can build on your experience in January. Now listen, it takes time to change habits. If you've been doing dry January, you've been at it for 31 days. And for my students, if you were doing this with me, in that time you've been allowing and embracing cravings, been getting curious, asking yourself questions, and treating yourself with understanding and compassion. All of these things, all of this is interrupting the automatic drinking habit. Right? Whereas consider before, you may have been drinking without even realizing it, or you may have been telling yourself you deserved a glass of wine after a tough day, and you didn't even realize that was all a story. Well, all of that has been interrupted, and this is hugely significant. I want you to think about that. Whatever you have learned about yourself in January, well, that's some knowledge you now have. That is power. That is the gateway to control. The question for you now on the 4th of February is, what are you going to do with that information? And this is where I'm going to make you the offer that I want you to choose your hard. It's hard to fully feel the discomfort of a craving when the bottle of wine is right there ready to pour, but it is harder to drink every day and feel trapped. It's hard to go out with other people and say no to the cocktail and have to put up with all the jokes or accusations about, are you always going to be this boring? But it is harder to wake up every morning filled with remorse. It's hard to go to an all-inclusive event where bottomless champagne is included in the ticket price and turn down every drink. But it is harder to see life passing you by through a haze because you're zoned out. So choose your hard. So that was this week's episode, short and sweet, really just encouraging you, if you have done dry January, to see how it applies and could apply to your life in the longer term, even if the longer term is only this week and then next week, and you build from that. And for those of you thinking, yeah, this is what I want. I had a taste of this, but I just don't think I can take, what I learned in the 4 weeks in January to a completely transformed and revolutionized relationship with alcohol. I can help. This is what I do. I help people like you, brilliant people like you, who are confused as to why they're in the drinking grind, and get them out of it, so that you can create a take it or leave it relationship with alcohol, however that looks for you. I have a completely judgment-free world, whether you want to just give up drinking entirely, cut back socially, reduce, however you want to see it, right? Whatever makes sense for you. I am there to help you fulfill that. If that's what you want, now is a good time. I've had a couple of spots open up. You want to grab one. Go to 90dayslater.co and press book a call. We will chat. That first call is free. I will teach you on that call. I will give you the exact steps to change your relationship with alcohol. This is information you will leave with, whether you decide you want to work with me or not. You have nothing to lose. You have everything to gain. So go ahead, book that call. And in the meantime, I will see you next week. If you like what you're learning in the podcast and you want to take the work further and achieve total freedom around alcohol, let's talk. I help my clients stop reaching for that first 6 p.m. rolls around. Email me for more information on anna@90dayslater.co. And if you did enjoy the show, I'd really appreciate if you'd leave a rating and review to help others find the 90 Days Later podcast.